if you could have gone back and told your parents, because you did mention your parents now, maybe three things, what they could have done differently to maybe understand you better or support you better.
Yeah, so I thought about that a lot actually. And I think one of the biggest things would be just to talk with them and like help them understand that like my emotions are very big and real to me,
Mm,
and that a lot of times when like I was what they might have perceived as like tantrums or being
mm,
dramatic or stuff like that, it wasn't about trying to get something or manipulate
mm,
them or anything like that. At that point, like in
mm,
my world, everything had become a catastrophe. And
mm,
it like a lot of times it would come down from either frustration or feelings of rejection.
mm,
Even if they weren't real rejection, just saying no, you can't do that or something, just that feeling, and it would compound and get worse and worse. And for
mm,
them, they're like, oh, stop being dramatic or stop crying,
mm,
and that doesn't really work for me. So
exactly.
really, if they had known like how to work with me on like regulating my emotions, and
Mm,
like if they could have comforted me like, yes, this is your feeling, I understand that you have this
mm,
feeling, instead of like making a moral judgment about how
mm,
I felt about things. I think that would have really helped me, because not only would it probably have helped de-escalate some
yeah,
of the
totally.
situations, I think it would have been a really good tool, even just for me, not taking so long to learn how to deal with my own emotions.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so yeah.
yes, such an important point because I work with many autistic adults, and most of them are saying that not validating their emotions as a child has led them to be quite anxious.
Mhm.
And I feel like there's a lot of work that we can do with our younger ones, just saying, it might not. This is the thing, is like we're all feeling the same emotions, but it's for different things, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes the emotions are massive for what some people think are small things, and they're really not small things. For that individual, that is the worst case scenario.
Right.
And if we really just focus on self-regulation, self-awareness first, and then self-regulation, I feel like it could help people become also more independent and more positive and more functional. And yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I just
No,
interrupted
no,
you.
I appreciate appreciate it. Um, I think other than that one, I think being able to give me specific steps and an order of how to do things would
Mm,
have been helpful. Um,
yeah.
because when, like, for example, clean your room seems
Mm,
simple enough. Like, oh, well, if you haven't made progress, it means you weren't listening and you're not obeying what I said. But when I don't know how to approach this overwhelming task, I'm getting upset and you're getting upset because you think I'm being disobedient. And so for me, I think it would have really helped to let them know, like, I need you to tell me, okay, first let's do your clothes, pick up your dirty clothes. Okay, let's do this thing next, because then I wouldn't have been as frustrated and they wouldn't have been as frustrated.
yeah.
And I'm sure that could have carried on to other things. That was just a, a
Mhm.
specific example.
Yeah,
Um,
and again, sorry, just to
no,
interrupt you there,
no, you're good.
but Dr. Temple Grandin said the same thing. She said, "Whatever you ask me as a child, or even now, you have to give me the steps."
Mhm.
And also the categories, like cleaning your room can mean like cleaning it spotless. Do I have to clean every single piece of the room, or do I have to just do specific tasks in the room? And I feel like that could be good for any person,
Yeah.
um, to learn in with quite specific steps, because it will make us more efficient, like all of us more efficient,
Yeah.
because we'll know, okay, I don't have to do this part spotless. I just need to hang up my clothes, I need to sweep the floor maybe, and then I need to make my bed. That's it, three things, which makes the task also not seem so massive.
Yes, absolutely. And then the third thing would just be like to like clarify maybe for them that I do take things very literally and I'm not great at social things. And um maybe to like more explicitly help me with those things. So like, instead of being like, why didn't you get that? Here's what's happening, and maybe this is how we respond in this situation. And not just expecting me to magically know or getting
Yeah.
irritated that, like, because a lot of times I would be told things like, because I would argue if you said something to me literally,
Mm,
and I took it that way and you meant it a different way, we would get in an argument, obviously, because it seemed like I was like pretending, if that makes sense, like to take it
mm,
one way to make an argument. So my mom would always be like, you always have to have the last word, and why you always argue with me and stuff like that. And
mm,
it's just because, like, you don't make sense. Like, you told me this thing
mm,
and you don't make sense. Um, I don't know, that I think that would have just been
mm.
helpful to know that. Just, I think a lot of this is like, I didn't mean to be a bad kid.
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I mean that's brilliant for a parent to know that and to say, because I think initially parents would think, oh no, they're just trying to be difficult. Like,
Mhm.
why are you back chatting the whole time? I mean, that actually leads to my next question is, what are some of the subtle signs, the more subtle signs that you feel that parents could look at and say, oh, maybe my child's on the spectrum, rather than my child's being naughty?